So hello guys, welcome or welcome back to the KP show. We are here with a review of the fifth test match between India and Australia of the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024. Australia have beaten India by 6 wickets and have clinched the series 3-1. In this particular test match, India won the toss. They decided to bat first, got 185. In response, they bundled out Australia for 181, having a 4-run lead in the first innings, after which India batted and couldn't get too much. They got 157. Australia stayed on the total pretty comfortably. We'll take you through the happenings of day five, and then we'll talk about a bit about the aftermath as well on the Indian cricket field. So day five started with India at 141 for six. They had a lead of 145. Pat Cummins struck early. He got rid of Jadeja. Then he got rid of Sundar. Then Scott Boland came in. He got rid of DSP Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah to wrap India up for just 157, leaving Australia 162 to chase, which they did quite comfortably. And again, DSP Siraj got out and India lost the test match. This streak never ends for us, unfortunately.
So starting the day off, I thought 30, 40 runs were required at least to make it challenging as Bumrah won't bowl. It was pretty much uh, confirmed that he won't bowl because as he had a back spasm, as reported by Prasid in the press conference yesterday. So 180 could have been a very challenging score given the bowling we had and the type of pitch it was. But what happened early in the morning, it was really bad application again, because after choosing the heavy roller, you get bundled out for just 16 runs. That is bad batting from India, especially from someone like Ravindra Jadeja. You are in the game for like 15 years now, and you just go out so easily. He could have got out in the very first over itself. I think the second or third ball it went through the slip cordon, but after that, the second over from Pat Cummins, he got out. Then same for Washington Sundar. He edged one ball to a boundary, then got bowled out. And of course, I don't expect much from the last three, maybe DSP Siraj or Jasprit Bumrah. And it was kind of disgraceful by asking Jasprit Bumrah to bat. I, I mean, what was the need there?
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree on that. We talked about this yesterday as well. Even if there is a slight concern about Bumrah, he should take no further part in this game. But again, he was. I think it's quite unfair on how this series has panned out for Jasprit. I mean, he has been amazing, but that doesn't mean that you squeeze every last bit of energy out of him. That's the kind of unfairness that has happened to Bumrah in this series. I mean, really disappointed with the way he was used, firstly by Rohit Sharma. We all remember that Melbourne test. He was like, "Ab to zone nahi lag raha." He was almost like he was literally his back was broken.
Yeah, I mean, he had to do all the heavy lifting in this series, and that you can see the gulf between him and the rest of the bowlers, even the Australian bowlers, if you keep for that matter. The gulf between Bumrah and rest of the bowlers is pretty wide. So this is something that India had to take care of initially, and we have spoken it in the review of the MCG test as well. That after losing the Boxing Day test, there is no point in playing Bumrah at Sydney because Rohit was going to continue as captain because he didn't step down at that point of time. So even if he was playing, there is no point of playing Bumrah here at SCG given the hot and humid conditions of Sydney and the amount of bowling he had done in the Melbourne Test. 54 overs, can you imagine? One bowler within a span of 2 days, 2 or 3 days, had to bowl some 57 overs. That is not 54 overs, that is not easy. And in fact, he got 9 wickets. That means he has done all the heavy lifting by himself. So it's a bit sad, unfair on him, sad on our part as fans, and you can say very sad with the point that ICC Champions Trophy is just around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, considering Champions Trophy and Bumrah's well-being in general for the future as well. He already had this back injury, and now to put more and more pressure on him is definitely sad. But on the bright side, Bumrah got rewarded for his efforts. The last BGT in Australia, Cummins was the man of the series. He got he put in those efforts. He was bowling 150 k's per hour in the last session of the last day in Gabba. So I felt that he deservingly won the man of the series in 2021 series, and now the same thing happened for Bumrah. Very happy that he got the results of all the effort that he put in. Man of the series, very well deserved, and yeah, good going for Jasprit. Hope he recovers well, and hope he's fit in time for the Champions Trophy. And even for that also, I would just hope if he's not fully fit, then we should not rush him. Even there also, because we have to think of Bumrah in the long term, as in for the next 4 5 years. Even if it costs us, let's say, one Champions Trophy, and we are able to keep Bumrah fit for the next 4 5 years, we should go for the latter. That's just my thinking, but we have to see how things pan out. Hope it's not too serious.
Then Australia came out to bat with 162 runs required, and I think that kid Sam Constas went after the bowling from the very first over. And what a horrific start that was. I mean, five wides in the third ball, and you concede like 13 runs in the first over when you are defending a Meager 162. I mean, that was bad bowling again to start off the things. Then I think the score was somewhat like 3 overs 36 or something when 3 point some overs, the 40 runs for
37.
loss of 0 wickets when Prasid got rid of Sam Conscious. And by then the game was pretty much done if you see. The other two wickets, Marnus and Smith, they got out of nothing balls. Marnus chased a wide delivery and just made a uh, just placed the ball into the hands of Yashasvi. And Smith, what was he thinking of? Even nobody could understand. Even if you ask him, he would also say, "What I did, I don't know." It was some ball on
Yeah.
the eighth or ninth stump, bouncing well on his uh, at his head high, and he tries to defend it by jumping
He was
towards the ball.
on
I
he
think
was
he
on
was high
nervous
on
double
adrenaline.
line double line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he was high on
Him and
adrenaline.
Mahila, him and Mahila are the only two batters in the history of the game to be dismissed on double line double line. So
Yeah,
I think the nervousness of getting to 10,000 runs at home, because Sydney is Smith's home ground, right?
his home
So I
ground.
think
Yeah,
that nervousness
cost him
got
his
rid of
wicket.
him.
And again, Travis Head, kudos to Travis Head. He played very sensibly, didn't chase the balls, defended what should have been defended, left few balls alone at the start of the innings. And whatever chances he got, any half volleys or any half trackers, he made sure he middled them all. That is what I was saying last day as well. Jadeja got a lot of half volleys, at least four or five of them. If at least if we converted those, we could have got 20 more runs, and could have been a different scenario altogether on this kind of a wicket. But sadly, it didn't happen. Also, the cause that Jasprit Bumrah was not on the field as a means we are one bowler short, and there is one, in a way, you can say a psychological advantage as well for batters like Usman Khwaja or Marnus, or in fact, Travis Head as well. He got him out like 3 4 times in this series. So, and he said that in the post-match interview as well, that we were the 15 most happy men on the planet to find that Jasprit Bumrah was not going to bowl in this innings. He said it as well. Travis said himself. So
Yeah,
that I think it was a combination of all the things which led to India's downfall today.
I think Usman Khawaja scoring 41 of 45 kind of just itself says how bad we were with the ball. But again, okay, we have to be a bit considerate as well. We did not start off. Uh, I mean, we started off very poorly, which was, of course, for which you can criticize the bowlers. But after that, once that horrific start had happened, it was very difficult to recover because we only had like two bowlers who were bowling from each from opposite ends. Prasid and Siraj, they bowled what 10, 12 overs each on the trot. So not much we could have done after Bumrah went off the field. That was the scenario. But yeah, so that's that. And even Bow Webster, what a test match he had on debut. got 57 crucial runs in the first innings. You remove his 57 from the scoreboard, the game would have been completely different in the first innings. After that, he got the 35, 36 runs, whatever he got. Also got the winning runs in the game, picked up wicket, I think, of Shubman Gill, got catches, a dream debut for him overall.
Yeah, it was long due for him because he has been a good performer for them in the domestic circuit, may it be any format. I think he got some 1,000 runs and some 30, 40 wickets in the Shield season this year. Means last season in the Sheffield Shield. So that's really good and really positive of him. And what do you want to say that how come Australia produced these all rounders in the last 20 years? If you see, or even in fact before that as well, Tom Moody was there. Then there was Ian Harvey was there. Then James Hopes. Then we had Shane Watson, the legend. Then we had Mitchell Marsh, Moises Henriques, Ben Cutting. Then we have this new breed of Cameron Green, and this guy Beau Webster is there. How come Australia produce all these all rounders consistently? And they are good across both the departments, not mediocre at all. They are all good players. James Faulkner, we miss James Faulkner. What an impactful player he was during his stint of 4 5 years, whatever he played for Australia. Won them a World Cup, was man of the match in the final at MCG against New Zealand. And I mean, how come Australia produce these kind of all rounders all the time? It is something
I
that
mean,
is
I
to be
think
studied.
definitely it has to be studied. I think the way they produce these all-rounders, of course, we produce a lot of spin bowling all-rounders. Yes, you can say it has a lot to do with the conditions that they have, seaming conditions and the not seaming conditions, bouncy conditions rather, which rewards that kind of all-rounder. So that's why they produce a lot. They don't produce spin bowling all-rounders the way we do. That's there. But the point that we are trying to make here is those all-rounders are so good in both the departments. They make an impact. Let's say even a Marcus Stoinis. We didn't talk about Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, Marcus Stoinis I
How
missed out.
impactful he is.
Yeah,
So,
on his day he can win
so
you
they have,
games on his own.
yeah. So I think it has a lot to do with the way we utilize our all-rounders also. Let's say an Akshay Patel, for example. Akshay Patel is equally good with the bat and the ball. But how often is he being used? You look at the way he's not even playing most of the series because he's not being picked. So I think it's about also giving these guys the opportunity to bat and bowl to create that impact. It's not that they haven't done, but we have to think about it in that way as well. Let's say Nitish Reddy, we have a very good all-rounder in our hands. Of course, his bowling is a bit lacking, but you cannot just leave him astray. Let's say if he has a couple of bad series, right? You have to carry him, you have to train him. All that investment needs to be done for sure. I
That is
think
for
that
sure.
that's where they miss out. The second point also is that it's about the pitches. I think in our domestic cricket, the pitches that we have are very skewed. Either they are massive turning tracks or straight, uh, like seaming conditions where bowlers who bowl like 130, 140, sorry, not even 140, bowlers who bowl 120, 130, they can pick up wickets because the ball is swinging so much. We are having these kind of some extreme conditions in domestic cricket. That is also a problem why we are not
And
able
in
to
wide
produce quality all-rounders.
and for wide ball formats, they will create like flat roads, may it be T20s or
Flat roads.
your this 50 over Vijay Hazare. So yeah, the I think pitch conditioning has also gone a bit worse in the last 4 5 years, especially after COVID. It has gone to the extreme ends. There is nothing.
Yeah,
There is no in between pitches. Like you will not get a 250, 260 game. Either you get a 350 or you get a 150 in ODIs. There is nothing in
there
between,
is
and that
nothing
is
in
what
between. Exactly.
and that is not helping the cause because the players are not getting not having that they are having that skill issue. If you see, either they play very poorly on challenging conditions or they play really well in the flat tracks.
That's
So
what
that
is
is
happening, I think. If you look at India's performance, let's say the senior team, right? India's performance, Indian men team. If you see in New Zealand series, there were spinning conditions. We could not play spin, right? We cannot play swing. That is also established. If you look at the ping ball test match, the conditions were swinging. Weren't even expecting India would do anything in the test match, to be very honest. We we talked about that in the previews as well, right? And if you talk about seaming conditions like yesterday, of course, yesterday it was very difficult to bat. Given we have to give them that leeway. But what about times like the GABA? What about times like MCG? Those were not so difficult conditions to bat. But then,
Definitely.
even when there
I mean,
is slightest sea movement, you are not able to bat. That's the problem.
I think people can really target someone like a Mohammad Siraj or maybe Akashdeep or maybe Harshit Rana or anyone apart from Bumrah who was bowling. But if you look in the hindsight, we played some 9 innings. I am keeping the Brisbane second innings aside because we only played 2 overs there. So I'm keeping it aside. Out of 9 times we batted, we failed to score 200 runs in 6 out of those. And I think four of them, sorry, 3 of them were the first innings. This match, the one at Perth and the one at Adelaide. Adelaide, both sessions, both times we could not cross 150. Sorry, 200. Again, this match also the same issue. Again, in the Melbourne Test second innings, we scored how much? 155 or something like that. Okay, that was a lost cause. You can say anything, but again, you have to bat. And Australia, mind you, has the best batting conditions in all of SENA countries.
True.
Historically, the toughest is South Africa, followed by England, then it is New Zealand, and the easiest of the four is Australia. The bounce is even, you can trust the bounce, you can play your shots. That's why we expected so highly from our players, especially from someone like a Shubman Gill or a Virat Kohli, and they failed miserably this
Even Rohit
series.
Sharma and KL Rahul for that matter.
Yeah, so that is
KL
the
got
main.
those 2 innings. KL got those 2 innings. Okay, even if you count Perth first innings, he got 3 innings. But what after that? Not impressive at
Yeah,
all, right?
he felt really flat after the after he was moved to number three. You can debate. It can be a debatable thing that changing his batting position doesn't help. All those things, but the thing is, he Rohit Sharma. How many balls did he play in Melbourne? 10 balls in the first innings. I think not even 10 balls. I think 7 balls. 3 of 7 or something he scored in the first innings. So basically, he was exposed to the new ball there as
He was okay.
only. But yeah, not to joke about, it's a practical thing. So okay, whatever happened, but you being a senior batter, you are in the international circuit for like 10 years now. You can't give these excuses that my batting position changed from number 1 to number 3, so I could not play. Here he opened. What happened? Both times he got out, and very cheaply he got out.
That is the point. I mean, of course, we are
I
not
mean,
saying that KL Rahul also has to be dumped or something like that. But what KL Rahul needs to try and think about is, as a senior pro, even people would have expectations from him as well. He's also in his mid 30s now, not too
yeah,
young from a Virat Kohli.
he
So
is 2 years. He's of 2010 under 19 batch, means 2 years after Virat Kohli. He's I think 33 or 32, 33 now. So I don't see any reason why he would not be a premier batter in this side. He is one of the premier batters in the side. That's why you are playing him. You have been carrying him for so long. As an opener, also, if you see, he is barely 35, and that is
yeah,
10 years of test cricket. Mind you, nobody
I
has got such a long rope. Nobody.
I think one thing that we can do with KL Rahul is I hope the team management trusts him and gives him a consistent run as the opener. This is one series which has gone by. Next is England series. After that, we have a few home series. What I would like to see is I would like to see Rahul in the opening slot, not tampering with him too much. Give him that slot. Give him 2 3 series. See what he does. If he's still not scoring runs or if he still has this kind of a consistency, then I think the management should take a call on him, whatever they decide. I think that's how, because you need to give people consistent runs. Otherwise, Although Gambhir says that it's all about the results, we are not getting any results by focusing on the results. So somehow you have to believe that give give a few games, consistent run in those particular positions. Also, this reminds me of how we have kept on tampering with the batting positions, with the batting order. So there is one player, he comes in. Let's say, for example, you take KL Rahul only. Today he's opening. Okay, his runs are not there, and let's say Rohit Sharma comes back. So Rohit Sharma is again the opener. Now, to fit in KL Rahul, what you guys are doing is you see who is not performing in the middle order. Oh, Jadeja is not performing in the middle order. Or let's say a batsman, for example, Shubman Gill is not performing.
Sarfaraz Khan.
Okay,
Sarfaraz Khan in this
okay,
case.
Sarfaraz Khan. Okay, whoever. They are seeing which batting number the guy is not performing. KL Rahul, can you please bat at number six? KL Rahul, can you please bat at number three? So this is something that we need to avoid. So KL has to be clearly given a role in the team. We talk about the importance of roles in T20 cricket. It is equally important in Test cricket as well to have a designated role. So KL Rahul, you are our designated opener. Fail, succeed, whatever it is, this is your role. If you don't score, we'll look for somebody else who is an opener. Let's say now Dhruv Jurel. People are looking at Dhruv Jurel as one of the potential replacements. Now, don't confuse Dhruv Jurel with where he is going to bat. Whether he has to prepare for the opening slot, whether he has to prepare for number three, number four, number six. I think that kind of clarity is required from the team management side to the players. Jurel, we are looking at you for number four or number six. Give them that clarity. Sarfaraz, we are looking at you for number four or number six. So that is something we are missing.
That is for sure. I think this is one of the things. And four out of your top six, if they don't score heavy, and not even heavy, they don't score only, then
Don't
I
score
think
at
there
all.
is no way. I think there is no way you can win a series in Australia. Especially this is their best bowling attack. If you see in the last 10 years, this is their best bowling attack. So it was kind of bad batting, bad batsmanship throughout the series, which led us down. And that is something to be addressed by the team management as well as the coaching fraternity. Whoever is the batting coach, is it Abhishek Nair or is it Ryan Tendaskata or even Gambhir himself? This has to be addressed because the next
Yeah.
World Cup is in South Africa, and South Africa is very similar to Australia, and the pitches get faster and bouncier there. The grounds get smaller, definitely that is the case, but the pitches are bit difficult given the bounce and the
Definitely.
pace.
Traditionally, we talked about Australia being the easiest out of the Sena conditions. South Africa is the most difficult out of the Sena conditions. So
Definitely.
yeah, now let's move on to one other bit. Let's talk about what Gambhir mentioned in the press conference. I think I really liked one point that he mentioned about everybody that he would advise everyone to go and play domestic cricket. So, for example, and he also mentioned that everybody that I would advise everyone to go to domestic cricket to play there. Anybody who aspires to play red ball for India. So does that mean he would ask Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma to play red ball cricket, Ranji Trophy? Because I hear there's a game upcoming for both Mumbai and Delhi, 22, I think 23 Jan. So is it possible that we are going to be seeing those guys in Ranji
I
Trophy?
mean, if you ask me, currently keeping the Champions Trophy in mind, I don't see them playing those games. I'll be honest with you because Rohit Sharma is the captain of the side and Virat Kohli is the most integral part of your ODI batting along with Shreyas Iyer. So I don't see these people playing a lot of Ranji right now, at least till the IPL ends. After that, we have, I think, 1 month of gap from IPL end. There, maybe they can slot in for a game or two. Otherwise, I don't see
But
them
there are
playing.
no games. There are no games at that point. So
Let's be practical. So they can opt to play in the county championship. There is no issue there because you are going to play in England. If you want to make a comeback into the test team, you means if the selection committee continues to persist with them, then I think they have to play county cricket. That is the best option out for them because Champions Trophy is next month, followed by a long IPL season. I don't see them playing the domestic games. I see there are no chances for that because they don't have time
But
only. They have they have three ODIs which they will play mostly against England this month only at the end month end, and then after that there is Champions Trophy mid of February, starting mid of February. So they need preparation time for that as well. And also there are no test matches 6 months at least from now. So what is the point?
I think from that
But
perspective, you are right.
ideally they should. Any of whatever Gambhir has said, I completely agree with him. Ranji Trophy and domestic games should be given high priority for someone who is aspiring to be a red ball regular in the team. But the thing is, whoever is the regular and has performed as well, you didn't give them chances or consistent run as well. I mean, Sarfaraz Khan, he has been the breadman of domestic. Maybe he got the numbers right. You don't and now how he scored, in which manner he scored, that is a secondary thing. But he scored. That is the main part. He got a 150. He got two low scores, I think two ducks or something against New Zealand, and you drop him straight away. Right. So this
I
is
think he
something
was
that
dropped for that one shot that he played, which is fine. But again, you cannot just keep that player away. You have a guy who's getting out in the same manner for 8 out of 8 innings that he got out. So there cannot be double standards in Indian cricket anymore. And this is what Gambhir also mentioned in his press conference today, that he wants to be fair to everyone. But what fairness example are you giving if you are not treating everybody the same? I think this is a question that he also has to answer. He has to think about it. I mean, if you are playing somebody on what you, there has to be a certain basis on which you play somebody. Okay, somebody is scoring hundreds and hundreds, scoring heaps of runs in international cricket. You are playing them without any domestic cricket. Absolutely fine. But if somebody is not scoring runs internationally, they're not playing domestic cricket. I mean, on what basis are you selecting them over somebody who is doing so well in domestic cricket at least? So there has to be some proof also, and recent. It's not like he has done it in 6 years ago, so he'll do it again. Sport, uh, unfortunately, does not work like that, and we got a bitter taste of the reality in this Test series.
yeah, even in the New Zealand series as well. This has been a very tough time for Indian Test cricket. Last 8 matches, I think we lost seven. Sorry, six we lost, one draw, and one win at Perth. So it's have been a very difficult time for Gambhir and co as the coaching staff and the team as well. Anyways, let's talk about Pat Cummins, the genius of Pat Cummins. What would you like to say? Now, I was reading that Australia holds all the bilateral series in Test cricket, which they play against the Test sides, and they are
Yeah,
the holders of the 50 over World Cup. They are the holders
the
of the
World Test
Test match,
Championship.
and in fact, they also are the holders of the Chappell Hadley Trophy. I mean, the ODI series which they play against New Zealand. So how good they have been? They beat South Africa last year when South Africa toured here, means toured to Australia. They beat uh, they beat Pakistan last year in Australia. They beat India this year in Australia. They beat West Indies. I think they beat the previous series, so they are the holders of the trophy. They drew the Ashes 2-2. Before that, they beat
Retained.
Ashes. They beat England in Australia 4-0. It could have been 5-0 if not for the rain in Sydney. So, how good Pat Cummins has been as a leader. He became the captain, I think, in the 21-22 series uh, against England, the home Ashes they had. And after that, he has won pretty much everything which he captained to. He won the WTC final. He won an away test series in Pakistan. He won the home Ashes 4-0. And he won the World Cup. He won the BGT after 10 years. And what else? In South Africa home series he won very comfortably. They won. Pakistan home and away he won. What else? What is next? I mean, he's pretty much completed cricket.
So he has won
Only
everything.
only
That's
thing
the
is
point.
the Champions Trophy that is coming up next month, and he will be fresh, mind you, because he is not traveling to Sri Lanka, given because he is going to have a baby, his second baby. So he is not going to travel to Sri Lanka. Smith mostly will captain the side, or it will be Travis Head, one of the two.
Yep. I think Pat Cummins is a genius bowler. We have always talked about it. We've seen how good he is. I talked about this a bit earlier, how good he was in the previous BGT when we toured Australia. I think his captaincy is now coming to the fore for everybody to see. I remember during the 2023 World Cup when Pat Cummins lost the first three games, which he was
Two
anyway
games.
supposed to lose because of those conditions. Two games, Sri Lanka, they won or lost? Can't
Sri Lanka
remember.
they won. Sri Lanka they
They
won.
won. The first two games they lost. One against India in those conditions, turning conditions. Then again to South Africa on a very slow wicket. Plus, they did not have Travis Head by that point. Once he lost those games, he was trolled mercilessly by media. I think everybody. I remember Sanjay Bangar. I remember Gautam Gambhir. Those guys asking why is Pat Cummins leading Australia into a World Cup? He hasn't captained them in an ODI series as well. Because if you remember the ODI series that they beat us actually right before the World Cup in our home in 2023, Pat Cummins was not part of it. He wasn't the captain. So they were like asking why this guy is the captain, and he showed the world why he is the captain by defeating India in the Narendra Modi Stadium. Unfortunately, I was there to witness it live. It broke my heart, but credit where it's due to Pat Cummins. He was phenomenal. He took the crucial wickets of Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli in that game. And we've been seeing if Bumrah from our side is leading the charge, Pat Cummins is leading the charge from Australia. And again, with the bat too, in the MCG test, he got those 49 and 41, which was eventually the game for me. Because
Yeah,
311 for
he got
6 in the
some.
first innings, 91 for 6 in the second innings. From those points, he got them to 474 and then 238, respectively. So I think you have to give it to Pat Cummins.
Yeah, I think he has got some 160 runs, 158 or 159 runs in this series as a batsman, and 26
which is way
wickets.
more than what our primary batters have got. So that tells you the story of this series.
So
I cannot even imagine that. But yeah,
that
it is what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's how tough of a cricketer he is. How good a cricketer he is. And as a
Yeah.
captain, also, he was pretty spot on in most of the things he did. Apart from that one phase in MCG, where Nitish Reddy and Washington Sundar pretty much ran away with the game. Otherwise, MCG could have been won by Australia a lot earlier. 211 for 7, and they reached some 369 India. It could have been won a lot easier. They could have like 200 run lead or something, and the similar kind of batting they would have done 200 runs and then 400 plus target they could have set and asked us to bat.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, if we are
That's
talking about
why
ifs and buts for India, then definitely we have to give those ifs and buts for Australia as well. Because we
Australia
were
as well.
talking about, okay, if we could have won these moments, then India would have won 2-1 or something like that. But Australia
Yeah,
also had those moments. If they capitalized, could have been 4-1 for us. Or maybe even 5-0, who knows. So that's there for sure. But having said all that, one thing is like we did not test Pat Cummins enough, is what I would say. Pat Cummins is coming in with those plan A, and his plan A is enough to beat us. That's the problem. We have never pushed him to those plan B and plan C. That also is there. I mean, nothing Pat Cummins can do about it.
I think only time we pushed him in this series was that last day at Melbourne. That was the only time because they were
The
literally looking
declaration.
helpless. Helpless. No, not a declaration. That is fine. 250 could have been challenging as well with the kind of batting. 6 out of 9 times you haven't scored 200. Well, how are you even thinking that we will chase down 250 or 280? That is not a cakewalk. It would have been difficult only. Maybe would have won. We had a higher probability than 340 at 260. That is what you can say. Thing is that second session when Rishabh and Yashasvi batted the entire session, didn't score many runs, but they looked really comfortable. and not looking like getting out. Any ball. You throw anything at them, they will take the body blows, and they were just ready to bat it out. And in that point, I think we tested him the maximum. He asked Marnus to bowl few overs. He threw the ball to Travis Head. I think Steve Smith didn't bowl at that point of time. Apart from that, whoever could bowl, they bowled in that session. I think that was the only point, and that also worked for him because Travis Head was the bait. They threw to Rishabh Pant and he got out, and then the floodgates opened, and they cruised through in another 30 runs. The entire team crumbled. So that is the only point I think he got challenged. Like, how do I get these guys out or any of these guys out?
Yeah,
So I think if we could
yeah,
have created moments like that in this series, maybe one or two moments more like this in the series, and we could have and held on to our nerves, maybe the scoreline would have looked a bit different. Maybe a 2-2 or even a 3-1 win for us.
so I think that's all. What else? What else in this test series?
Scott
I think
Boland.
we didn't talk about
Scott
we didn't
Boland.
talk about huh?
We didn't talk about
Scott
Scott
Boland.
Boland.
Yeah,
My goodness, he has been a kind of enigma for India. In this series, he played three matches. They won all the three matches. He got some 23 wickets, I think, 21 or 23 wickets, averaging under 13, which is at par with Bumrah. This match, he got 10 wickets, 10 for. I think this was the most, I think this wicket they prepared for Scott Boland only. And also kudos to Pat Cummins and Australian management. They prepared a really spicy wicket here, knowing very well that they can also crumble. They took all the chances to produce a result out of this. They took a brave decision, and as we say, they walked the talk.
definitely. Scott Boland has been a puzzle for us definitely since the time he has been playing. If you remember WTC final, also he was the guy who cost us. Travis Head, of course, was there. Pat Cummins, of course, was there. But main destructor in chief was Scott Boland in that game
He
also.
literally ran through the batting lineup.
Yeah, I think phenomenal player. And I think this is also the point of difference between the two sides. If you look at it, Scott Boland is what? Their fourth seamer?
Yeah.
Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood. After that, they had Scott Boland, right? And Scott Boland is the one who threatened and he took the game from us, took the series away from us, rather. And compare that to our side, of course, our bowlers did well in patches. Prasid was very impressive in this game. Should have played this test series from before also. You talked about it so many times in our reviews and previews. So, Harshit Rana also impressed in that first game, in the first innings. And Siraj, I would say he put in everything that he had. Of course, he was a lot wavered in many of the innings and couldn't get results. And in some innings, he was very good but did not get results also. So he was also good, but none of these were comparable to the threat that the Australia's third, fourth seamer had against us. So that is, I think, also the point of difference between the two sides in this series. That their support bowling, which we thought was support bowling, was actually very potent, and that that killed the game, killed the series also.
I think this also has to do something with the team management for India, means the selection committee and whoever is the main architect behind the playing 11, may it be the captain or the selection committee, or is it the head coach and his compatriots, whoever it is. I mean, Australia is always known to be a fast bowling paradise. And this time, from Perth onwards, we saw that the wickets are going to be spicy because they also need the results to be on their side because they lost a test out of nowhere against West Indies last year, which actually hit their WTC final chances. They lost that game, Shamar Joseph game. So that was always on the cards that they are going to force results on you. So the best way out was we have, and their batting was very shaky as well. If we played four seamers in all these games, I bet we could have easily won this Test match series. Even if they were new, may it be Harshit Rana, may it be Akash Deep, may it be Prasid Krishna, two of these, if they played along with Siraj and Bumrah, all the matches, we could have won this series. Definitely, we could have won this series because the batting is not firing anyways. Even after playing eight batters, eight proper batters. Let me tell you, they are eight proper batters. All of these, made by Washington Sundar, made by Nitish Reddy, Ravindra Jadeja. They are proper batsmen. They are not like 10-20 ball batters. They are proper batters. And if even in after that, if you are failing to score even 200 runs in 6 out of 9 innings, then I think you should look at it in a different way. That formula is not working for you anyways. That is something I think the team management lacked. The vision, that vision. They should have tried
Definitely.
to
I think
after the Gabba test, because Gabba, the batting failed miserably. You were celebrating follow-ons there, avoiding follow-ons there, and after that I thought, okay, MCG, because there was a flat wicket as well. Flat wicket means the batting will do well anyway. But you batted eight batters there, still you fail to bat well, and the bowling becomes weak, and you concede some 474 runs. If there was a Harshit Rana or a Prasidh Krishna there at the bouncy wicket of MCG, mind you, that 474 could have been a 350 and we could have won the game. We may
definitely
have.
that is always there, and that is why this conversation is kind of like circling around that batting part. That because you did not have enough batters, and this is also by Rohit Sharma's own admission. If you had seen that interview that Rohit Sharma gave to Star Sports, there he
Lunch break.
talked about that we could not carry so many out of form batters, so I opted to step down. So if the captain is admitting this, then that means somewhere the team management had this thinking that okay, we are carrying so many out of form batters, so we need to pad the batting more. So in an effort to do so, I think Washington Sundar is a very good bowler. He's a very good all rounder, I would say. But you are not using him like an all rounder. He was there just for the sake of it, and we only wanted his batting. We did not even utilize him as a bowler in any of the test matches that he played. So that was
Yeah,
unfair
that
to
is what.
Washington Sundar also.
Yeah, because we are not we are not able to capitalize his skill set properly. Neither we are using him as a bowler, and batting someone at number 8 is going to yield you the results in 1 out of 10 games. May it be any format. May it be any format. Best you can do is 2 out of 10 games, where their batting will come into picture and they will maybe win you a game or put you in a fighting position. Otherwise, at number 8, what do you expect? He's batting half the time with the tail. Or how can he score runs?
I mean,
So,
if Washington Sundar if Washington Sundar had bowled, let's say 15-20 overs in every innings of the games that he played, I would have had absolutely no problem. I would have thought, okay, at least they're using him, but they're not using him. So if you're not going to use Washington Sundar as a bowler, if you do not have enough trust on him as a bowler, then play a batter if you want a batting, or if you want bowling, play a bowler, seam bowler. I think that is something that India has to think about. These combinations that they're trying to do. I mean, your intentions were right going in by picking Washington Sundar, but on the field you have to use him also. And it's not like the conditions were absolutely such that you could not use. Maybe in this match you can give that excuse, but what about the previous game?
I think
So
this
he was like
match,
absolute.
Australia thought it very well, preparing the pitch. They literally nullified the spin element from the game. They gave a green top, and India comes out with two spinners. I think that was not very bright from the team management going into the 11, because if you see that kind of a green top, you know the grass is going to stay at least for the 3 days, and you very well knew that the fourth and fifth day were going to be a rainfall. There was rain predicted, heavy rain predicted. So I think that was a huge miss from the team management. I think this game they should have played an extra fast bowler ahead of Washington or Jadeja, whoever it was. Because Jadeja, I think, barely bowled in the first innings. Second innings, he didn't bowl at all. No spinners bowled. And batting also, either of them didn't contribute in this match. So that is
I think
something.
batting I wouldn't. Batting is okay. Sometimes you get runs, sometimes you don't. That is okay. Uh, the bowling part, they haven't been used at all. If you
Yeah.
I just saw the scorecard. So Jadeja bowled 3 overs in the first innings, okay, and Washington bowled 1 over in the second innings. So for 4 overs of spin, you're playing two spinners. What's the point? Play one batter and one bowler, a
Yeah,
seamer.
that
They
is
would
for
have
sure.
done the job.
That is for sure. And I'll tell you, I was yesterday. I told you right. 150 looks challenging on this wicket. It was challenging because okay, they got out right. It was 62 for three. 62 or 57, something was the score. From
Something.
there
Yeah.
on, 100 runs could have been very difficult if you had a third seamer. Because in the hindsight, Travis had also knows because these two bowlers have bowled 10 over spells, they can't go on forever. There is a point that their body will break. Siraj has been
Yeah.
bowling, has played all the test matches. 5 test matches, he has bowled, I think, 20 overs in each of those innings, wherever we bowled.
And he has put in
So
effort everywhere. So
yeah, yeah, definitely. Prasidh is coming back from a long injury, so he can't bend his back like Bumrah or anyone for that matter. So they knew, okay, first 20 overs, if we get through, we will kill the match in another 10 overs. And this is what they did. They played very smartly, these people. So that is
yeah,
something I think was a huge miss from the team management, giving the team selection, the combinations, whatever they formed. And even after 5 matches, we had the same problem. That is the worst part. We
yeah.
never realized
I mean,
from the Gabba test of the pink ball test that we are a bowler short. In the Gabba test only, Bumrah got 6 for 76, and see the figures of the remaining bowlers, the other ones. We considered like 445 there. Gabba first innings. Steve Smith and Travis had both got hundreds. So this is something that we have to think a lot, I guess, going forward. Because in England, the conditions will be very similar. There also you need four pacers.
yep. Agreed on that. So we'll see how it goes there. And finally, before we close off, let's talk about the positives that we had from this test series. As Gambhir mentioned, there were definitely a lot of positives, but it was like kind of individual flashes of brilliance, wasn't consistency. So Yashasvi Jaiswal scored. He had a very good series, I would say. And I mean, if I'm expecting too much from him as a 22-year-old, I would be wrong. He has done for his age and his experience. He has done more than enough.
The only two times where I thought he could have done a bit more was in the both the innings at MCG. I think there were 200s that he missed out on.
Yeah,
Other than that, if you look at his dismissals, one was that flick when did he get out to that flick in Gabba? Gabba, I think, to Mitch Stark. Flick to
yeah.
Sean Mitch
First
Marsh.
innings,
That's short square
first
leg.
innings.
So yeah, that was one. Okay, he got out very early, so you can't blame him. In both the Gabba second
No, no,
innings he
no.
didn't.
I think there's nothing to blame to Yashasvi Jaiswal. It's
Yeah,
just that uh, I mean maybe
only
slightly more, but no complaints. I mean what he has done has been phenomenal in this test series.
definitely. I mean, he missed out on
And
those tournaments.
Nitish
That
Reddy,
that you will agree as well. In
yeah,
MCG, in both he missed
would have
out
been
on the
sweet.
200s. Yeah, he
Would have been
batted
sweet
really.
had he got him there.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then Nitish Reddy. I think he has been very good as well in this series. Got a bunch of 40s before eventually getting to that elusive 100 in MCG. With the ball, there's a lot yet to be desired from him, but with the bat, he was absolutely good. I think in the future, we could look at him as part of one of the top six. So
I
that
think
will
he
also
should
help the
bat at
combination.
number six. I think he has to bat at number six. If you want to win in Sana conditions, especially, you have to play an all-rounder, a fast bowling all-rounder at number six. That is the way we have to go.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to bat higher up in the future. And I think these were the two players from the young brigade who were very good. And we saw flashes of brilliance from Harshit Rana. Prasidh was very good in this game, and I think pretty much the young people have done very good job. I think one disappointment was Shubman Gill. We'll not talk about it too much now.
I
We've
mean,
already and talking about more positives, we've seen good glimpses from the youngsters. So we hope that continues, and I think these guys deserve opportunities as well. Maybe if it's a down phase, maybe it's okay. Maybe a couple more series we are going to see this. But what we would like to see is people not making those same mistakes over and over again. Let's say Jaiswal is making that mistake, still understandable. What is disappointing is the senior pros are making those mistakes, which is costing the team a lot. So hope that this gets fixed very soon, and we see a lot of good things in the future. I think this part is done. This is the last video that we are making on BJT for now. Maybe we are going to do a complete tour review later or something or at some point of time. But for now, this is the end. And what we are looking forward is to the T20 series against England. So our boys, the young guns, they have been scoring these 280s, 290s in South Africa against sort of their second string bowling. They didn't had Rabada there. So I think they will be really put to test in home conditions, of course. That will help us, but they'll be really put to test against England, who is coming in with their full strength squad. So let's see how it goes for us. Hopefully, the wham bang slam of T20 cricket continues for India because we seems to have kind of entered into a golden era in T20 cricket. Hope that kind of remains prosperous for us.
We we are playing like defending champions. Let's be honest.
Yeah, really proud of the way that the team has been playing T20 cricket. To be very honest, I mean, this is something that I have been craving for a long time, and finally, it has become a reality. So we'll join you guys for the T20 eyes. Up until then, this is it. So hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to our channel. Check out our other videos as well of this tour. Check out our IPL review videos and more, everything that we have on our channel. So with that thought, we'll leave you here. See you in the next one. Ciao.